Yo, what it do? Just kidding. My name is Canan, and I thought I would do a really cool tutorial for you guys, something a little different. So this kind of has something to do with the beat, but we're not going to be talking about that. We're not going to be learning about that. What we are going to be learning about is how I approach mixing vocals, and preferably in this tutorial, it's going to be about how to mix clean vocals. Get a really nice ambient sound and kind of show you how, in the industry they get, just one way is how they get kind of like a wider, really clean, just a big sound that sounds really clean and professional. And I'm going to show you a couple tricks along with that and how to attain this type of sound. More of like a radio, just a radio polished, ready product. So something you guys could all use. And I figure as a producer like myself, I constantly get emails of people asking me how to, not how to, but also how to, but also, if I can mix and master their tracks. And so I figured some of you guys get a lot of questions, about this too. So whoever's watching this video, whether it's a producer, whether you're a producer or whether you're an artist watching this video, I think that you're going to find that in this video, there's going to be a lot of really cool shit that you can take from it and approach yourself. And you could use this in a few different DAWs. We just happen to be in Logic Pro today. It's pretty fluid in this DAW, and we'll get to work. So also I want to say just a quick disclaimer. I apologize if this video goes on for longer than I expect. I'm trying to do this quick, so we'll just go through it. I want to say what we're going to be looking at is, whoops, sorry about that. Let me click this down. So I made this beat. Let me see if this thing's still running real quick. Okay. So I made this beat maybe a couple days ago. Didn't really have time to finish it because I was, just doing some work. So I made this beat, and it's pretty dope. And it's kind of unfinished, but, I figured it was perfect for the tutorial. And it's at 104 BPM, so I made sure to set that before I even recorded anything. And the vocals we're going to be working with are these vocals here. I didn't do anything to them besides the harmony tracks here. And all I did here was I literally just cut them and just, put a little fades, in the front of them just so it's clean. But that's it. Other than that, you can see in the effects bar right here, there's no effects here. It's just raw. Okay. And they're not that great. But I'm going to show you how to treat them anyways. And just another disclaimer, second one, is before you start talking shit, I'm not really a vocalist. I mean, I do sing and whatever, just on some of my own projects, just for fun and whatever. But I'm not really that great of a lyricist or anything like that. And I just wanted to get something quick so I had some content to show you guys. So I recorded these super, super fast. I probably wrote these bars in I wouldn't even call them bars, dude. That's not even fair. But I probably wrote these lines. In maybe a minute or less. Literally just wrote them down on my phone. Whatever popped in my head, I just wrote it down, and I went in the mic and recorded it. With that being said, and trust me, I'm going to try to talk a lot less, but I just want to get this out of the way. With that being said, I want to tell you the first thing about recording is very important to know. When you have a better signal coming in, the cleaner the product you have working with coming in, the better the product going out. So it's very, very important that is understood. So if you're, one of those guys that, it's like, I can't get my vocals to sound that good. You know what I'm saying, right? Well, the first thing you probably want to do is check, where you're recording, how you're recording, what equipment you're using, things like this. Little things that can help, give you a better signal coming in. And in the long term, you're going to have a better product going out, like I just said. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. And you know what I'm saying? We'll just move forward with that being known. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play you the beat first so you can see what we're working with. And then I'll just solo these vocals so you can hear that real quick and how shitty they are. And then we'll move forward. So check it out. All right, so that's basically the beat. It doesn't really change. It just kind of gets a little more simplified out here. Right, so it doesn't really change. So that's the gist of the beat. And then these are these are the vocals we have to work with today. Again, I apologize. I know it's going to be crappy. But you don't have to worry about that. It's just, for the tutorial. And it's just all we're going to focus on today is how to approach these when we mix them. That's it. So here we go. These are them. Check it out. Yeah, I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in a Rari. Right, pretty bad. I mean, the pitch is right there. It's not too bad, but I mean, crappy lyrics and all that stuff. Anyways, let's just hear it with the beat. Yeah, I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. So yeah, it's just try to come up with a simple melody, something we could work with. Anyways, to move forward, again, just so you're very clear, even if you don't like the vocals and you think the words are shitty, it doesn't matter. What I want you to listen to is listen how clean the vocal recording is actually. So I went in the booth, my own booth, and I just recorded these real quick, but I made sure it's just real clean. So if you listen to it, solid. Yeah, I be the one throwing the parties. Just very clean. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Number one is the first thing to get a clean recording. Okay, that's known. So let's go forward. The first thing I do before anything, I like to pitch correct, and I'm not talking about T-Pain, none of that shit. I like to pitch correct first. Let me fix this mic. I feel like I'm getting a lot of pops. If it's popping, I apologize about that. Just try to bear with me. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing I like to do is I like to pitch correct the raw vocal first. So it'll be typically, if the vocals are all over the place and there's like a lot of crazy dynamics, I'll put on what's called a vocal rider, which is kind of like an automatic automation for volume correction, just to kind of, help the vocal before a compressor or whatever kind of stay, even, so nothing's too much louder than the other, nothing's too quiet. You know what I mean? But we don't have that problem here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put on one of my favorite plugins, especially for tuning, which is the Waves tune. We're going to use it in mono because obviously the vocals were recorded in mono. So Waves tune works just like Melodyne, where you have to record the audio going into Waves tune, and then you can manipulate it from there. One note, if you use Waves tune, if you decide to put it on here, if you see, like, if this was a full track and I didn't have a hook over here and I only, sang it one time and then I was going to copy paste, what you want to do is you want to copy and place all the vocals that you want prior to using Waves tune. Okay, so just before you even add the plugin on the channel, just copy paste all the plugins first. Copy and paste all the vocals in their right spots first before you move it. Before you even touch the vocals, make sure they're all in place. Because when you record the vocals into Waves tune, it's done. Okay? And that's it. So let's handle this out. I'm just gonna press play, and you're gonna see the audio is gonna start tracking in here. So let's do that. Yeah, I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in a Rari. I stay in my grind, no one's hating no on me. Okay, anyways, that's kind of a shitty last line. Anyways, so the vocals are in there, okay? So we can see, I told you I know the key of this beat because like I said, I made the beat, so I know it's in C major. So you can see that like I said, I sang it pretty close. There's not a bunch of wobble if I open it up here. There's a little bit of, vibrato in here, but it's, for the most part, it's like pretty much in key. I sang it, pretty close. So that's a good thing too. You want to try to do that as much as you can if you're a vocalist. If not, if you're recording, if you're mixing it for someone else, tough shit. That's what you got to work with. Anyway, so what we do, the first thing we do while we're in here, what I do is I'll hit the select all button, and I want to make sure the root and the scale is, we're in the right root and scale. So like I said, I know it's C major, so we'll leave it on C. I'll go to the scale and choose major. You'll see all the notes shift over here, okay? So what I'm going to do, we're going to be playing with two knobs here, which is the speed and the note transition. The note transition is exactly what it says, is how the note's going into there, whether it's going to be sharp or a smooth transition. T-Pain's vocal, that really auto-tuning effect, is going to have a really sharp note transition just like this, like pulled all the way down. So we want to do, for me, what I do is I pull it back pretty sharp to begin with. And with the speed, I'll drop that too. What the speed does is it minimizes the natural vibrato in the recording. As you can see, these little wavy things here, if you just pull this down, it'll get flatter, like all the way flat. So if you really T-Pain status, you just drop these to 0 and it's like super crazy. Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Right? We're not looking for that, but you could do that just to check if it's in tune. So I'll just kind of start with that, but I'll never keep it like that because I personally rather listen to just a nicely pitch corrected vocal instead of a crazy auto-tune vocal. So another cool thing about Waves Tune is what we can do. I know for sure this is like a half step lower. This is C. We want to stay in this part right here. So if we just click right here, it's actually we're gonna make another one of these stop, these don't use type of symbols here. And I'm just going to left click one time, and obviously it's going to shift the notes to the next nearest available position in the scale. And there's one here, so it's not going to go downward, it's going to go upward, which is what we want. So I push that, it just gets shifted upward. So if you listen to it, yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. All right, so we're good there. So I'm just going to adjust this to my liking. If you just, like I said, I'm just going to raise a transition here. Try not to spend too much time. I mean, I could do a whole tutorial just on tuning. So if you want to see that, leave a comment. And I'll make another one just on this. So I'm just going to lift this up to something that I like, which is probably going to be around 40, 60, something like that. Like I said, I don't want it to be too noticeable. So, and then I'm going to leave this about 4 or 5, maybe 6, something like that. Let's listen to it. Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in a Rari. So it's not bad. It's, even with the beat, it's not going to be that noticeable. So I'm cool with that for the sake of the tutorial, and we'll move forward. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing I do, and another thing, just before we move on, just real quick note. Everything in line after each other, like each effect after, that's why it's called an effect chain. Matters. So the way this is done in order is going to really matter a lot. So the next thing I do is I always EQ first before I compress. That's just me. Some very in certain occasions I'll compress first if the vocal's kind of crazy and I need to tame it first. That's a different story, but like I said, we don't have that problem here. So I'm going to use the Pro Q2 for this. And let's see, I'll just EQ this so I know when to cut out some lows. I'm going to make this quick because I could do a whole nother tutorial on just EQ. So we'll just kind of move along here. Let's see what this sounds like just to cut. Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the party. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in a Rari. Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. That sounds pretty good, so I like that there. For 5, I know my voice personally, I have like a lot of nasally area around 500. It seems like a lot of other people do too. So I'm going to bump this up. You can hear exactly what we're cutting. It's a good practice. Just throw it way up and you can hear what it is and then dip it back down. Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. So that's pretty bad right there, as you can see. So that's like around 405 hertz. So we're just going to drop this down. Probably drop it down like 2 dB or something like that. Why is it? It's jumping. Let's do it. Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. So another thing really quick is what I used to have a lot of problems with the EQ with let me see how much time we have actually. try to speed this up. We're at 14 minutes already. Holy shit. Okay, so another thing that I try to do is, what used to happen to me back in the day is I used to cut so much to try to get my vocal to be clear. And then what happened is like my vocal just started sounding so thin. I just got like horrible mixes that way. So I always used to question, like, I spent months trying to find out, like, dude, what am I doing wrong in EQing, to where I can, keep a good amount of weight in the vocals. Like, how does Drake get his vocals like that, where they sound so clean, so clear, but yet they don't sound thin, right? They don't sound thin at all. They're just like very present. They have a good weight to them. And that's what I struggled with for a long time. And one of the things that I always did was, once you cut out the nasally sections, of course, there's more cuts you can do if you fine tune it, which I'll do sometimes. But for this tutorial, I'm not going to do that. But I just want to show you the biggest things that make the biggest changes, in my opinion. What I realized, what I used to do, I used to boost a little bit at like 2K. And if I show you here, if I boost up, the vocal's really clear right here. I'm going to solo this in this band right here. But another thing to think about is, like, we're not really looking for that, because if we only boost the high vocals, we're thinning it out again, because we already did the cut, and now we're only boosting the clean parts. So I'm going to show you something right here, what I listen for now. I be the one throwing the parties. It's very bright in that frequency. What I learned is if you boost around 1K, it actually starts, the tip of it over here actually starts to pull in some of this low information here, but it kind of tricks the ear. So what are you listening to it? It's like right in between where it's starting to sound money, but you could still understand the vocal clear. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I be the one throwing the parties. See how it's very clear still? Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. So around 1K is where I boost, and it tricks the ear into thinking that there's still like a good amount of weight there. And it's a great place to boost up a little bit. So that's what I'll do. Yeah, I be the one throwing the parties. Sounds cool. Another thing I'll do just real quick is I'll just give it a little air. So I'll just boost around, like, between 6,500 to, 7,600, somewhere around there. 8K, something like that. Just a little air, just under like a dB or so. Depends how clear your vocal is too. Everything's different. Yeah, I be the one throwing the parties. That sounds cool to me. So, for this. So anyways, the next thing I'll do is I'll go into Waves and I'll pull up one of my favorite compressors, which is the H compressor. And they actually have a really cool preset in here, which is what I start with, and it always actually just sounds pretty good. So I'll use the tight vocal, and then all I'll have to do is I'll just mess with the ratio a little bit and adjust the output gain according to the beat. So I'll just listen to it like this, and we'll just, adjust this as needed. Yeah, I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you wanna, but you stuck in the lobby. And after we could whip in the Rari. So it's very clear, and which actually makes me want to touch on something else really quick. Another thing that's good to note is a lot of producers, man, will tend to sort of, master their beats and compress the shit out of them. The thing that, as an engineer myself and mixing a lot of other people's music, is a lot of dudes will send me beats that they buy online and all kinds of stuff, and there's literally zero room on their beats. So that's something definitely producers can take out of this. Be mindful of vocals going on top of beats, man. You don't have to compress the shit out of them. They just have to sound clear. As you can see, this is like a lot of space in here, but the beat by itself, it still sounds meaty, man. It still sounds clean. It's a clean mix. There's a lot of headroom for vocals. These are things to keep in mind, Also, another thing, too, is that you're so worried about the beat, just sounding good by itself. But the thing is when people buy your beats in, it's a form of promotion. People drop songs and, you're asking them to, say, yo, this is produced by so-and-so. But the thing is if you give it no room, if you give no room for the engineer or whatever to mix the vocals into, it's kind of just going to sound worse. So, just try to be mindful of that. Give the artist, something good to work with, as well as the engineer. It's going to be a better product. It's going to be a better product at the end, all the way around. Better song. So anyway, that's a compressor there. I'm not going to talk about ratio or threshold or anything like that, because we could set these up ourselves. but we can talk about that in another time, just showing you how I approach this. So this is pretty good settings for me. I think it sounds pretty good. I'm just gonna listen to it one more time.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby.
So that's good. I just got a 6-to-1 ratio over here, and the threshold's, not all the way up, and my mix is at 70%, which is cool. That's totally fine with me. Not all compressors are gonna have like this, mix knob, but it'll be something close. Okay. So the next thing I do, I do this sometimes either before the compressor or after, but what I'll do is I will pull up a de-esser to kind of just control the S's just a little bit. And let's see here. I'm just going to pull the threshold down to where I start seeing some kind of a attenuation or a reduction here. And I'll just adjust where I want the frequency band, where it's going to, where I'm going to tell it to affect it the most. You know what I mean? Where I think the S's are bothering me the most. So let's just take a listen.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby.
So this one has more S's. Let's listen to this without the beat.
Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby.
That's actually pretty good right there. So I think I'm going to drop it a little lower to about like the high 4,000 right here, something like that.
Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby. Yeah.
It's cool how you can sidechain this. You can hear what, what's being affected, or, where it is, without the full audio. So anyways, it sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah,
there.
you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby.
Like I said, I just wanted to tame it a little bit. You're not trying to crush it, because then it's going to dull the vocal.
Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby.
Sounds clean. So check this out. So this is pretty much what I do here as far as the effects. I mean, as far as the vocal chain up front, this is pretty much it. I don't really try to go crazy, on these things. And one thing I never do is I never throw reverbs, delays, things like that. I never throw them directly on the channel here. So with that being said, also, mind you, the project we're looking at now, just for this tutorial, we're only working with two vocal tracks. When people send you stuff to mix, sometimes you got like, a couple dubs, you got ad libs, you got, other backing tracks for vocals, all kinds of stuff going on. And then you got verses. So those are probably going to be on different tracks, all kinds of stuff. If you had all these tracks, if I pull up the mixer, if you have all these tracks, right? I mean, all these plugins on like 15 different tracks, it's going to be a lot of CPU and all that. So what you want to do, you want to try to group things, accordingly. And I'm going to make another tutorial about that too, how to organize your stuff. But so now that I think about it, actually, it's probably not worth it to go into that just now. But yeah, let's not go into that right now, because I'm going to get carried away with that. Anyway, so let's just stay on track. So these are the things to clean up and tame the vocals and keep them clean with EQ, compression, and de-esser is another form of compression. And we have that's a different track. And so the de-esser, compression, and tuning, okay? That's what we did on this track. Now what we want to start doing is we're going to do effects. Like I said, I never put effects directly on the track. What I use is we're going to bust these things, okay? We're going to use sends to bust them to auxiliary tracks. And we're going to do that for a reason here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the reverb first. So I'm going to set up an auxiliary track. In Logic Pro, how you do that, you just click on the little send option here. And I'm going to just I'm just going to go in order. So I'm just going to use bus 1. And it will set up an auxiliary track here. As you can see at the bottom here, it says auxiliary 1. Okay. So I'm going to use one of my favorite reverbs by Valhalla Room. What time are we at? I'm trying to keep this quick. I apologize. 23 minutes. Okay. I'll try to wrap this up. So what I try to do here with the Valhalla Room is I know I want a little bit of pre-delay, because I want the vocal to kind of still be clear up front. So we're going to have the reverb start just a hair after that, okay? And I know I want there to be a nice sustain. I want since the way the vocals are broken up here. Whoops. Let me open this up. See this space between the vocals here? I want the sustain to kind of carry through and deliver, a really nice ambience. So that's important to me. So with that being said, I I know what. Sorry, my mouth is dry. Let me drink real quick. With that being said, no, I want a nice little decay here. And I definitely want some depth here. I'm going to leave the high cut by itself. I'm just going to pull this up a little bit. Now, what's really cool about using sends for effects and auxiliary tracks is that they don't affect the direct signal. What we're going to do is we're going to give some of the, it's almost like you could think of like a little give and take, okay? We're going to give this signal here. We're going to give as much as we want to bus 1, and we're going to tell it how much of this effect we want to use on that signal, okay? So over here next to bus 1, we have this little knob where we can turn up and down. This is how we get to tell it, okay, we want to use more or less of the effect, okay? We already put the reverb there, so I'm just going to turn this up, and I'm just going to play it and see where I like it, all right?
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby.
I like that. It's actually got a nice amount of decay going through here. It's a pretty long decay, but it's nice. And I think with the beat, it's gonna sound good. Let's check it out.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in the Rari.
So I think 12 over here is a little too high. I'm gonna drop it back to about 14, something like that. I want it to be a lot of, like, kind of really ambient.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties.
So that sounds good. We could always come back to it and, turn it down or up, whatever we please. So that's the first thing I do. I like to put the reverb on first and just kind of give the vocals a sense of space. The second thing I'm going to do is we're going to add some delay. Now, there's a really cool way to approach delay, and I'm going to try to make this quick because I already have a video out there on Sidechain Delay for vocals. But in case you haven't seen that video, which I'm sure many of you have not, I'm going to show you what I like to do. Another one of my favorite delays is the H delay. We're going to use mono to stereo because we're going to use the ping pong effect. But I really love this delay, man, the way it sounds. It's got a clean sound. So I'm going to keep this on 1. I'm just going to do a little my own setup here. We already know the BPM is on BPM is 104, so we're just going to turn this down. And I know for sure I want a quarter note delay, so we're going to leave that there. And what's really cool about this delay, it gives you like a high pass filter and a low pass filter knob here, which is really dope. You can link them, which is really cool. They'll turn however you have the settings. If you want to adjust them per se, they'll turn together. It's pretty dope. So I'm going to do kind of like a band pass. I'll just pull the low pass up a little bit, and then we'll pull the high pass up too, because I want it to be a little bit, pretty clear, the delay. So here's the cool trick. I'll try to make this quick. Here's the cool trick. If I were just to turn the knob up so we can use the delay, I'm gonna turn it up loud to maybe 5, just for this section, okay? Just to tell you how this works. If I play it just like this, it's gonna sound muddy. The delay's gonna run through. Listen to it.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties.
Let me mute this so you can hear it.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby.
Okay, that's not good. You know what I mean? Because the vocal's not clear. It's not coming through. Because all the delays is like starting on the next line, and it's like becoming hard to hear what's going on until after the fact, which is what we don't want, right? So I'll see the way I see some people attack, delays or, delaying certain parts, in between the vocal. What they'll do, because they don't know what to do, they'll do like Command D and just create a new track, and then they'll copy this part of the vocal. They'll, drag it down and move it over and be like, yeah, that's my delay right there, dude. But the thing is, there's a better way to do this instead of doing that. And I'm going to show you right now. And it's really awesome. And it's how a lot of big time, industry professionals, they do the same trick. So I'm going to show you right now. Like I said, it's called sidechaining the delay. So how we're going to do this is under the delay on the same bus, which is auxiliary 2, I'm going to add a compressor. I'm going to add the C1 compressor. So how this is going to work is what we're going to do is we're going to use the same signal and we're going to pass it through the compressor, and the same signal, like its own signal, which is the vocal here, is going to pass through the compressor, and then we're going to use the compressor, okay, to tell the delay when to work and when not to work. Okay, so how this is going to happen is we're going to play with two knobs here, which is the threshold and the ratio. And so we're going to do is with the sidechain option up here, I'm going to choose bus 2 because the delay is on bus 2. Okay. Like I said, we want to use the same signal. Then I'm going to drop the threshold down. Okay, we'll adjust this in a second. And then I'm going to do like a hard limiting type of compression. So I'm going to do something harsh, like 10-to-1 ratio, something like that. All right, so we'll just bump this way up. It's taking me a long time, sorry. So that's fine. It doesn't have to be exact, just something huge. I mean something harsh. Anyway, so I got a 10-to-1 ratio there. We're going to adjust the threshold in just a second. So I just want to show you again what the vocal's doing without the compressor, okay?
You know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby.
All right, are you ready for this? This is really dope. I'm gonna turn this back on and watch how our own vocal signal is gonna go through the compressor, and because we're sidechaining it to the delay, it's gonna tell the delay when to work. So every time the vocal's going on, the compressor is basically gonna close and not let the delay through. The second the vocal finishes, the compressor releases because the vocal's done passing through it. So the compressor opens up and the delay shines through these empty spots, which is really dope. So check it out.
You know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby.
Pretty awesome. So if I were to drop the threshold like really harsh, just to tell you that it really is working, you could hear it. Check it.
You know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit.
Pretty awesome, right? I think it's like really cool. And it's a very, very helpful trick, and not a lot of people know how to do that. So, you're welcome, and it's something you could use. And yeah, so let's move on here. So actually, what I'm gonna do is, since those settings are all whacked out, just for the demonstration, I'm gonna just adjust this real quick into something that I like. And just give me a second.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want up, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good whip in the Rari. I stay in my grind and what's hating no on me.
Okay, so I like that right there. That's pretty good. Like I said, we could always come back and adjust stuff, but I just want to get something pretty close here. So the next thing I do is I use this thing called the doubler for the next send, and this is really dope because what I want to start doing now, the vocal's still pretty centered, minus the ping pong delay, but the main vocal here is pretty centered. So what I want to do is I want to really widen this thing out. This is like what I wanted to show you guys, is how to really put that sheen, that radio polish on a vocal. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna use the doubler, and I'm going to use what's called the Haas effect, which is just a technique on how you can use a doubler to create a really nice, it's a really nice stereo effect. So check this out. We have the doubler here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the direct signal here, and we're just going to play with the delay here between the left and right channel. And what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to, for the depth here, I'm just going to raise it 1 and then lower it to -1. We just want to have that opposite split there, okay, in the depth. The tuning, the detune, we could just leave the same because it's already 6 and -6. I'm just going to leave that there. Now, to get the Haas effect, it's pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're just going to bump this up from 9.4. This is the frequency over here. And I'm going to pull it to about 14. So I think the Haas effect, if I can remember, somewhere between 14 and 23, something like that. So that's for the left signal, okay? The left voice. For the right voice, I'm going to leave it around here, but I'm just going to kind of jump it down to about 22. Okay. So that's it. That's all I really do is kind of touch this, play with the depth, and then for the Haas effect, the delay is going to be split very shortly between each other, okay? So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to bump this up to, I don't know, I want it to be very present here because I want the stereo effect to be nice. So I'm just going to leave this up high. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bypass it one more time real quick. And, wait, let me see something. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to bypass this. So just listen to the vocal one more time. Then I'll turn it on. And you should hear a noticeable difference.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties.
Here's with it on.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in the Rari.
So that's the doubler. It's actually pretty amazing. It just kind of just widens. It's such a nice effect, and it's very professional sounding. So the cool thing about that is it adds kind of like a slight chorusy effect depending on how you use it, but I love the way it sounds because it's not super chorusy. You don't really notice it that way. You just notice that it takes up a nice space. It just kind of widens it, pushes the vocal inward a little bit, and it just sounds really nice. So with the beat, it sounds like this.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby.
So it's got a really nice presence in the stereo field, which is what I really like. So that's the Haas effect on the doubler 2. That's the third send I usually use on a vocal like this. The last but not least, no, it is going to be the least for this tutorial. But the last thing I do here is I just did this playing around, and I was like, man, how could I make it even more wider? You know, there's something going on with these vocals on the radio where they get it to sound, you know, they just have this sheen on it. It just sounds like it's moving more. So I was like, damn, what could I use to do that? So what I did was I actually just grabbed a stock. I went to the modulation thing, and I just grabbed a stock phaser, and actually literally just opened it up. I left all the stock settings, didn't touch shit. I closed it. And then what I did is I just raised it until I liked what I heard, and you know, I'll kind of go up around 15, something like that, and I just notice it just adds, you know, because the phaser kind of moves front and back and whatever with the frequency and how it kind of warps the vocals. So I like that, and it kind of gives a sense of this nice moving vocal, and I don't want to push it up too crazy where you notice the phaser, but I want to push it up just enough to where I can notice movement in the vocal, and that's what I'm looking for. So check it out.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in the Rari.
I think that sounds really clean, and I'm pretty happy with that. So that's basically the end. That's basically how I approach these clean vocals. And I'll show you one other thing. As you can see here, I already mixed these real quick. Just this secondary vocal here. And I just did some some really whack harmonies. Like I just wanted to do something and show you how I layer it. But this will just be real fast. Where I'm at here at 30 minutes. Cool. So this is a pretty long tutorial. I apologize for the time. I just wanted to try to be somewhat clear, and hopefully you can get a lot of stuff from this and how you approach vocals. Next time maybe we could, you know, do a shorter one on, you know, how we approach rap vocals and things like that. So yeah, so what I did is I just did these shitty harmonies. I'm going to take off the AutoTune and the effects. So, you know, don't judge me. Like I said, I literally just did these in minutes. So it's real quick. So you can just hear it real fast. I'll just mute the main vocal.
Parties in the lobby.
And then I got like worse and worse. Check it.
Rari.
And then the last one's like the worst.
Mommy.
You can hear it, even with the main vocal, it just does not sound good. Wait, how do I do this? Here we go.
The one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby.
Right? And then worse, and then really worse.
Mommy.
Okay, so all I did, like I said, I approached it the same way. I put the tune on first, and then I EQ'd it did some compression, a little bit of DeEssing, and then I'll show you what I used here. And this sounds like this.
In the parties, yeah, she say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in a Rari.
So that's pretty much it for the reason why it's low like that. I'm going to show you. I have it at negative 8.8 dB here. And the reason why it is because what I did, the one thing I really like about Logic is they have this stock plugin under imaging, and it's called the stereo spreader. And I literally just pull it up and I leave it stock. I leave it bone stock. I just put, same thing like the phaser. I just open it up, let it do its thing. So when it's on, what's really cool is you're gonna notice that it pushes the vocals. I keep popping. I'm sorry about that. Let me turn the. I apologize if that got annoying through the tutorial. It's my first one here, so bear with me a little bit. Anyway, so what you're gonna notice is that it pushes the vocals way out to the sides, and it just kind of complements the main vocals, and that's what I was looking for. So it's on now, so check it out. You'll notice it here.
Be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby.
So that's pretty much it. It's just really clean, and I really like the way that sounds. And so together with the beat, this is pretty much the finished, basically a finished product. So check it out.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in a Rari. I stay in my grind and one hating no want me.
So that's pretty much it, man. I hope you guys could get some really useful out of this, especially with the sidechain delay and how we create more of a stereo width with the vocal. And that's pretty much it, man. Again, my name is Jay Canan, and it's been a pleasure doing this. And let me know what else you guys want to see, and I'll try to do some more shit. So you guys take it easy, keep grinding, and see you soon. Peace.
Yeah, you know I be the one throwing the parties. Yeah, you say you want out, but you stuck in the lobby. Shit, and after we good, we could whip in a Rari. I stay in my grind and one hating no